This next session is going to be dedicated to three setup objects that are similar in the concept that they are all taxonomy or library type of objects. Let's look at the first one, the time of types. So here each record would represent time of types that are recognized in your organization, either if they're paid or unpaid. Doesn't make any difference. You would need to click on new to create the time of type, provide the name, for example, parent leave, vacation, jury duty, and if they are included in utilization or not. So meaning that the hours that would be tracked against this time of type would create utilization hours in the future if this is something you want to calculate or not. This is how you create a time of type. The next one would be the billing types. So billing types is a bit different. It's the taxonomy. Once again, each record here, the whole billing types will represent the taxonomy of available billing methods for your organization that your organization will want to use to bill and invoice your customer services for services work. So here, if I click on new, it's possible for me to name my billing type. So billing type is more of a label, and you're going to select which billing method you want to link that billing type with. So I'm going to show you an example of one that is already being created in this org. For this company, we wanted to use the terminology of time and material instead of time and expense, but it's basically a time and expense billing method in the background. Client is calculating all of the numbers using this method, but in the front, when you're creating a new project, the users will be able to select between time and material or fixed fee. By the way, these two billing types or billing methods are the ones that are provided in the performance path, but you will always find all of the other billing method available if ever you want to do some tests or try some new billing methods for your organization later on. So they will always remain available even if they're not used currently. The expense types. So as you know, in Client, it's possible to create expense record linked to projects that can be later on submitted for approval by the user in the end to appear on the invoice for the customer or not. So on these expense, the user will be required to assign these expenses to any of the existing expense types. So this is the library of all the expense types you consider in your organization. So you need to create these expense types. Very easy. You click on new, but a bit similar, a bit different in terms of the information you need to provide. Of course, there's the name, so it's going to be maybe a airfare, lodging, meals. That's the expense type name. These two are default fields. So by default, is this expense type always billable or not billable? And is it always reimbursable or not? As I said, these are default values. They can be changed when you create the expense. The other one, however, receipt required, is really going to throw a little message if the user is not providing the receipt with his expense. So it requires the receipt in order to be saved. If there's no attachment, it will not save. The other one, include tax, is also another option if it's an active expense type or not. The category is going to be used mostly for mileage and fuel. So if you're not using mileage and fuel, you can ignore this field. And the limit obviously is if you have a limit per expense you create on this expense type. So basically that's how you create all of these taxonomy of types of records you will use in your client system a bit later.